Hey everybody, it's Shaw Blackburn here, and today I wanted to share a little bit of my story with you about how I became an intuitive confidence mentor and what that means. So I've always been different, and I've always known that, but I have almost always been accepted. Everywhere I've been, people have just accepted me, even if I didn't fit in with the clique or the group or whatever. When I was in school, um, there were some people, of course, that would pick on me, but for the most part, I didn't have one group of people that was just, I was only friends with the artsy kids, or I was only friends with the vote kids, or anything like that. It just sort of, was accepted everywhere I decided to go. And so you might be asking yourself, what is an intuitive confidence mentor? That's me. It's what I do. So I've been psychic my whole life, and I've built a business as a psychic. So you may know me as the Loon Witch. But I learned about myself that I'm so much more than a psychic. I am a person who strongly believes in empowering other people, and that has become more important to me as I've stepped into adulthood. Obviously, I'm really an adult now. But I want to share with you like how I got here, just a little bit, right? So intuition is something that we all have. We don't all trust it. And when we're young, our intuition is super active because we are connected to everything. It hasn't been domesticated out of us yet, right? Intuition is your connection to everything around you in the natural world and in the ethereal or spiritual world. Sometimes we just know stuff and we may not know why or how we know it, but we have unwavering confidence that we just know. And that's a lot of times when we're young. I want you to think back. Did you have an invisible friend? Did you sometimes just say things and people would kind of look at you like, how did you know that? Right? I had a good example today. I think sometimes I really surprised my parents, even now. They're well into their 80s and I'm well into my 50s. And even though they know that I'm psychic, they don't always recognize it until something profound happens. Like I called my parents today and I said, "Hey, I decided I'm going to make deviled eggs for our Labor Day cookout." And my dad loves deviled eggs. I love deviled eggs. My mom could care less about deviled eggs, but I just had this feeling that I needed to make them. And my dad happened to mention to me when I was on the phone with him this morning after I told him that one of his friends, who usually makes deviled eggs and shares them with him, has been traveling for a couple of weeks. And so he's been having deviled egg withdrawals. And I said, "Oh, see, our psychic link is strong." So every time that we learn that we were right about something or we just knew, our intuition becomes more stable within us. And we learn that we can trust it. So if you are struggling with that sense of your intuition, you feel disconnected, you don't feel like it's steering you in the right direction, lean into it a little bit more. Trust it with no expectations a little bit more, and you'll find that the more you lean into it, the more it starts working with you. My intuition has never steered me wrong, not one time. There have been hard lessons in my life and lessons that I needed to learn to become the woman that I am today. I'm sure you can relate. Going through these lessons were some of the most challenging times in my life. And even though I wanted them to end and I really wanted to stop being anxious and I wanted to stop being hurt, um, I never wish that they were any different. I don't ever look back on my life and say, I wish this never happened to me. I would do it all over again exactly the same way, even knowing what I know now. Um, because I just always knew that there was a value in the lesson that I was learning, and there was a value in what these things would hold for me in the future. And if you know me really well, then you may know some of my trauma, and you may be thinking, that's crazy that you wouldn't you would do this all over again exactly the same way. But honestly, I would. So I've had many labels in my life. Like every woman, we have the label of daughter or sister or mother or wife or friend. And it doesn't matter what the label says. I've always been true to myself. I've always been a little different. I've always been strongly intuitive. I've always been psychic. And I have fought the current to create the life that I've chosen to live. So when my parents were telling me that I shouldn't be a certain way, when my first husband was telling me I shouldn't act a certain way, when my second husband was kind of doing the same thing, right? Um, and I've had a lot of different relationships with friends, romantic partners, etc. And sometimes they were like, "Wow, you're kind of out there, or you're a little bit weird." Um, it didn't stop me from being who I am. It just didn't, because at the end of the day, we can only be our true selves, and that's the best that we can be, and our best is good enough. So when life gave me lemons, I made lemonade. Sometimes it was very tart lemonade, but I drank it anyway, and it's never been Kool-Aid. I am not subscribed to any particular religion. I live by my own doctrine, if you will, that I just try to do what is best for everyone involved. I do my best to zoom out, look at the big picture, and a lot of times that's what I encourage my clients to do. You know, when you're feeling hurt or upset or angry with somebody, um, it's time to kind of zoom out, right? We don't know what's going on in other people's lives. We only know what's going on truly within our own life and how we feel and how we react. And at the end of the day, that's really the only control that you have in any situation. You can control your actions and your reactions to things. And I'm here to help you with that. As an intuitive confidence mentor, what I do with the women who come to have sessions with me is I use my intuition, I use my psychic ability to help them dig into the root cause of something, to help them take a pause when they're feeling hurt, when they're feeling upset. Just take that pause and breathe and allow yourself to see a little bit of the bigger picture before you take an action step. I also use my shamanic healing gifts. I use my psychic gifts, my energy healing gifts, and all the things that I have taken classes in and become certified in, if you will. I use all of the knowledge that is within me to give guidance to the women that I support in their journey. And so if this is something that you find value in as well, I hope that you'll reach out and see what we can do together. All right. Well, that's a little bit about me, a little bit about the journey I'm on, and I look forward to hearing from you. And until then, be well.